Good evening, distinguished panelists, ambassadors, educators, everyone present here. Thank you once again for joining us in today's session. Today we're going to be having a very wonderful topic that concerns all of us, which is all teachers. So I'm just going to be it's just going to be a very quick one. So I'm not going to waste much time in this introduction. I want to quickly call on the first panelist for today's session. I'm going to be welcoming Ambassador Dr. Kamal Chandra Lohani as he responds to the question, in your own view, how does emotional intelligence influence ethical decision making in educational leadership? Over to you, Ambassador Kamal. I always call you Ambassador.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for this golden opportunity. Greetings and namaskar, namaste from India and from my side to all the distinguished guests, speakers, and our Gloria ma'am, Rania ma'am, Nalli ma'am, and all the distinguished guests. So today I have to speak on that. How does emotional intelligence influence ethical decision making in educational leadership? So I would like to say in the beginning, education is not merely the acquisition of information or knowledge, but the development of character and values. So these were the words of the Dr. Radhakrishnan, the second president of India. Educational leadership is not only about managing schools, making rules and policies, or achieving academic success. A true leader also shapes values, character, and the emotional environment of the school. In such a role, emotional intelligence becomes one of the greatest strengths of a leader. Emotional intelligence means the ability to understand and manage and wisely use emotions, both our own and the emotions of others. So it needs self-awareness, empathy, and patience, motivation, and a strong interpersonal skills. An educational leader with emotional intelligence makes ethical decisions more fairly and wisely because such leaders do not react in anger as it happens in the most of the school among the teachers. Do not react in anger, ego, or pressure. They listen carefully, think deeply, and consider how their decisions will affect students, teachers, and parents, along with the staff members. So I would like to have an example. Suppose that conflicts arise in the school, it happens natural. An emotionally intelligent leader does not humiliate or blame others. Instead, he tries to understand the feelings and the concerns of every person involved. And this creates justice, trust, and respect. These are the foundation of ethical leadership. Empathy, a major part of emotional intelligence, helps leaders treat everyone equally with compassion. A leader who understands the struggles of students and teachers and all staff members is more likely to make human and moral decisions than harsh and biased ones. Educational intelligence and also helps leaders remain calm during difficult situations. In times of stress and criticism or crisis, emotionally balanced leaders act with patience, with honesty and responsibility. And such decisions protect the dignity and well-being of everyone. Emotionally intelligent leaders inspire positive school culture. They encourage kindness, cooperation, integrity, and respect. When students and teachers see fairness and humanity in leadership, they also learn to behave ethically. I think knowledge and authority alone cannot make a great educational leader. A leader may be highly qualified, but without emotional intelligence, his decisions become cold and unfair. And true leadership combines wisdom with compassion and discipline with understanding. So, in the conclusion, I would like to say emotional intelligence is like a moral compass in educational leadership. It guides leaders to make ethical, fair decision and to build trust, harmony, and excellence in school or institution. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamal, for that amazing insight. You strongly highlight that emotional intelligence leaders are more likely to make fair, ethical, and human-centered decisions that positively impact educational communities. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your
Thank you.
insight.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
And moving on,
you.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to welcome our next panelist for today, Ambassador Yala Padmaja. Amsdoyala, your question is, how can emotional intelligence help educators shift from content delivery to meaningful transformation of learners? Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And good evening, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all the respected dignitaries on the dais, respected Gloria ma'am, Rania ma'am, and Kamal sir, Nahi sir, and all the outstanding speakers on this platform. My topic is how can educational intelligence help educators shift from content delivery to meaningful transformation of learners. So education is not only about transforming facts and information. It is about shaping minds, attitudes, and values and personalities. Emotional intelligence enables teachers to understand emotions, both their own and of their students, thereby creating a more impactful learning experience. Next, understanding emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage and use emotions effectively. It includes self awareness, self regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills. For educators, these abilities are important because teaching involves constant interaction with students who have diverse emotions, needs, and backgrounds. Next, moving beyond content delivery. Traditional teaching often focuses on completing the syllabus and delivering information. However, emotionally intelligent educators understand that true education is
Okay, I guess it's her network. I guess it's her network.
No problem, ma'am.
building, building strong teacher-student relationships. Emotional intelligence helps teachers develop positive relationships with learners. Students learn better when they feel valued, respected, and understood. A teacher who listens patiently and responds with empathy creates a classroom environment where students feel safe to express themselves and participate confidently. Next, understanding individuals' learner needs. Every student learns differently and faces unique challenges. Some may struggle academically, where others may face emotional or personal difficulties. So, educators with emotional intelligence can identify these needs and provide personalized support. I concluded that emotional intelligence enables educators to shift from being mere providers of information to becoming facilitators of transformation. By understanding emotions, building relationships, and nurturing holistic development, teachers create lasting impacts on students' lives. True education happens when learners learning touches both the mind and the heart. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Yala. Your insight shows that true education is transformational and emotional intelligence enables teachers to connect with learners beyond textbooks and examinations. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation. And moving on, I'm going to
Thank you.
welcome Dr. Leoncio Calderon as he responds to the question, how can emotional intelligence be used as a tool to improve teacher-student communication and reduce classroom misunderstanding? Over to you, Dr. Nolly.
Thank you, Dr. Glorious Gloria, and to our ever dependable, respected speakers around the world. I am Dr. Nolly from St. Mark Creative School, where I serve as its vice principal. Thank you very much to AWTE, AWATE, for this opportunity to share practical experiences and reflections on the question, how can EI be used as a tool to improve teacher-student communication and reduce classroom misunderstandings? In education, misunderstandings do not always happen from lack of intelligence. Many times they happen from lack of listening, patience, timing, and emotional awareness. At St. Mark Integrated School, we learned that students respond better when teachers first understand the emotion behind the behavior. For example, there was a student who repeatedly submitted incomplete work. At first glance, a teacher may think, this child is lazy, or this learner is irresponsible. But when the advisor calmly talked to the student privately, the teacher discovered that the learner was taking care of younger siblings at home while the parents were working. That simple conversation changed the teacher's approach. Instead of punishment first, the teacher provided flexibility, guidance, and structured monitoring. Slowly, the student improved academically and emotionally. That is emotional intelligence in practice. It is the ability to pause before reacting. It is the ability to listen before judging. And it is the ability to separate the child from the behavior. In our school, we always remind teachers that communication is not only about instruction, it is also about connection, relationship. A student may forget a lecture after some time, but they usually remember how a teacher made them feel inside the classroom. Another actual practice in our school is giving students safe spaces to express concerns respectfully. During homeroom sessions, consultations, and even ordinary class discussions, teachers are encouraged to ask reflective questions such as, how are you feeling today? Was there something difficult about the activity? What support do you need from me? These simple questions lessen fear and open discussion, communication. We also train teachers to avoid emotionally harmful statements. Instead of saying, why are you not listening? We encourage statements like, I notice you seem distracted today. Is something bothering you? The change in wording may look small, but the emotional effect on the learner is very different. Emotional intelligence also helps teachers manage their own emotions. There are days when teachers are tired, pressured, or overwhelmed. In many schools, emotional reactions can quickly create conflict inside the classroom. We remind our faculty that professionalism includes emotional regulation. We also apply this in communication with parents and guardians. Sometimes concerns become emotional. Instead of becoming defensive, we practice active listening first, clarification second, and solutions third. For me, emotional intelligence is not softness, it is wisdom with discipline. In the end, education is still a human relationship. Technology may change, curriculum may change, systems may change, but learners will always need teachers who listen, understand, guide, and communicate with compassion and integrity. From the Philippines, mabuhay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my boy. Thank you, Dr. Nolly. Your contribution highlights how emotional intelligence communication, emotionally intelligent communication fosters trust, clarity, and mutual respect, all of which are essential for effective teaching and learning. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gloria, and a shout out to my countryman, Professor Faranga. Hello, sir.
Hi, Professor Sparanga. You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to move on to our next panelist for today, Ambassador Nalam Achuta Murthy, and he's going to be responding to the question, how can emotionally intelligent leadership strengthen trust between school administrators, teachers, and learners? Over to you, sir.
Good evening, all the legendaries on the screen. It is not a college spade of spade. It is exactly 100% correct. Today's topic is emotional intelligence. It is very serious matter. At the same time, it is very funny because emotional intelligence leadership strengthens true in schools by creating an environment when the people feel respect, understand, valued, and also support in school setting. So it is depends on so many several things. Just one of them is effective communication. The emotionally intelligence leaders communicates clearly, honesty, and respectfully. They listen actively to teachers and leaders. So encourage open dialogue and respond thoughtfully, uh, rather than reaching impossibly when people feel heard and understand. It is my opinion. For example, if the head of the institution is observe all the teachers like their family members, automatically the institute runs so much very well. So similarly, empathy and understanding. It is also the very important point. Empathy is core component of emotional intelligence. Leaders who understand the emotions, challenges, and also respective perspectives of teachers and the students create a supportive school climate and school environment. Teachers feel appreciate while learners to feel safe and carried. It is my opinion. Similarly, fairness and also respect. That is another point. For example, emotional intelligence leaders trust everyone fairly and respectfully, regardless of position or background. Then, constant and understand decision making increase credibility and trust. So, conflict resolution is the another point. So, schools often experience the conflicts between staff members and also learners or administrators. Emotionally intelligent leaders remains calm, manage emotions effectively, and seek construction solutions. Listen instead of assigning work from students and also teachers. So it is my opinion, ma'am. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Nalam, for that amazing response to the question. Your opinion and response strongly reinforces the idea that trust is built through empathy, transparency, and respectful communication within educational communities. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you. And moving on, I'm going to welcome Dr. Miriam Salihu Suleiman. Trying to get your question. Sorry. Okay, and she's going to be responding to the question, what role does emotional self-awareness play in empowering teachers to lead classrooms where students feel both safe and challenges? Thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As educators, we often focus on curriculum, lesson delivery, assessment, and classroom management. While these are essential, one factor quietly shapes the success of all those areas, and that is emotional intelligence. Emotional self-awareness is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions. For teachers, this is not just a personal skill, it is a professional necessity. A teacher who understands their emotions is better able to respond rather than react. In moments, in moments of stress, frustration, or pressure, emotionally self-aware teachers maintain calmness, fairness, and empathy. This creates an atmosphere where students feel emotionally safe, a classroom where learners are not afraid of embarrassment, humiliation, or rejection. And when students feel safe, they participate more confidently, ask questions freely, express creatively, and become open to learning. However, safety alone is not enough. Effective teaching also requires challenge. Students must be encouraged to think critically, solve problems, overcome difficulties, and grow beyond their comfort zones. This is where emotional self awareness becomes powerful. Teachers who understand themselves can balance compassion with high expectations. They know how to correct without discouraging, discipline without destroying confidence, and challenge learners without creating fear. Emotionally intelligent teachers also model healthy behavior for students. Children learn not only from what we teach, but from how we behave. When teachers demonstrate patience, emotional control, active listening, and respect, students gradually develop these same qualities. In today's world, where many learners face anxiety, distractions, social pressure, and emotional struggles, the classroom must become more than a place of academic instruction. It must become a place of human connection, a place of growth and psychological safety. As educators and leaders, we must therefore invest not only in intellectual development, but also in emotional development, both for ourselves and for our students. Because at the heart of every successful classroom is not just a knowledgeable teacher, but an emotionally aware one. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Miriam, for that amazing response. Your perspective clearly shows that emotionally self aware educators are better equipped to nurture confidence, curiosity, and resilience in learners. And a safe classroom indeed becomes the foundation for meaningful growth. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you. And I'm going to quickly move over to Dr. Mohammed Osama as he responds to the question, how can emotionally intelligent leadership contribute to sustainable improvement in student motivation and academic engagement? Over to you, Dr. Mohammed Osama.
Greetings from India. Happy Tea Day and happy World Day for cultural diversity, for dialogue and development. जो तूफानों में पलते जा रहे हैं, जो तूफानों में पलते जा रहे हैं, वही दुनिया बदलते जा रहे हैं. It is on Gen Z, which is going on India, Cockroach Janata Party. Thank you all. Those who are being forced amidst the storms, it is they who are changing the world. I'm going to move towards my topic. It is not enough to be smart and hardworking. To have the added edge of success, student must also be able to understand and manage emotions. Emotional intelligence, often known as EI, refers to the capacity to recognize, control, and regulate emotions, which facilitates flexible thinking and comprehension of the significance and outcomes of emotions. Emotionally intelligent leadership sustainably improves student motivation and academic engagement by fostering a supportive, safe, and empathetic school climate. Educational leaders can leverage the collaborative for academic, social, an emotional learning framework to cultivate self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship management. These skills directly translate into sustained student engagement through four core practices: fostering psychological safety. Emotionally intelligent leaders create environments where students feel seen, heard, and valued. When learners are free from the anxiety of failure, their cognitive their cognitive capacity is freed up, boosting their intrinsic motivation and helping them take academic risks, enhancing teacher effectiveness and morale. EI is highly contagious. Leaders who demonstrate empathy and supportive communication build strong relationships with their teaching staff. This support trickles down to the classroom, as teachers who feel appreciated are more likely to deliver engaging, student centered lessons and provide personalized support. Developing student emotional competence. Leaders who champion social emotional learning equip students with the tools to self regulate. Students with high emotional clarity and repair skills can easily bounce back from academic setbacks, turning stress into sustained concentration and motivation. The last one, not the least, building collaborative communities. Using active listening and conflict resolution, EI leaders encourage teamwork among students, faculty, and parents. This interconnectedness creates a robust support system, increasing students' sense of belonging and their active involvement within the school community. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osama. Your contribution highlights, okay, sorry for that. Your contribution highlights that emotionally intelligent leaders inspire learners not merely through authority but through encouragement, connection, and also purpose-driven guidance. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you. I'm going to welcome our next panelist for today, Ambassador Nalini Ashtana, as she responds to the question, how can emotional intelligence be intentionally integrated into curriculum design to enhance holistic student development? Over to you, Ambassador Nalini.
Thank you so much, Glorious Gloria, for giving me the opportunity, and a very happy evening to all the educators who are sitting here in this window. So, as you have given, this topic is really very near to my heart because without EI, nothing can be catered. Nothing can be catered in anybody's life, not in your, but in anybody's life. So, it is a very good saying that when we teach minds without touching hearts, we educate intellect, but not humanity. And that is the reason there is no heartless children are growing, because we are just delivering the curriculum and curriculum and curriculum. So in today's rapidly changing world, academic excellence is not enough. The future belongs to the people who are emotionally intelligent, and they are having the wisdom, the empathy, every life skill which is required to be a good person. So children who can understand themselves, empathize with others, collaborate meaningfully, and respond wisely to challenges, they are the successful human beings. As Daniel Goleman has very beautifully said, if your emotional abilities aren't enhanced, if you don't have self awareness and empathy, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far, and you will be left alone in this world. So, with this, emotional intelligence must move from being an extra lesson to become a soul of any curriculum designing. UDS always talk about this only. In India, now we have see the educational board is giving this responsibility to the parents also. Initially, what was happening, parents used to admit the children in the school, and the responsibility goes only to the teachers. There, they are not behaving well, they are not performing well, everything used to come to the teacher's head. Now CBSE has drawn a law with that the parents will also be responsible, and they have to shake their hands with this administration of the school, and then only the school will be responsible, and even the parents will be partially responsible for their children's growth in all the manner. So the 3-4 points which I would like to bring forth to you is embedded feeling into learning experiences. Children should not only ask, what did I learn? They should ask, how did I feel while learning? What was their feeling? That we have to understand. When you are teaching any of the topics, you should be very, very clear. What was your feeling when you were listening about this story? So, and then the second point which I would like to bring forth is design curriculum around empathy and human connection. All the curriculum should be designed in this manner. And the third point which I would like to emphasize, that is teach self-regulation as life skills. And the fourth point, assessment should be measured on humanitarian ground also, whatever the children are doing. So my final message will be that holistic education happens when curriculum nurtures the mind to think, the heart to feel, and the character to serve. That's all. More power to every educator here and all around the globe to do their best to bring the peace, harmony all over the globe. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nalini. Your perspective shows that education should not only develop intellectual abilities, but also nurture emotional growth, character, and social responsibilities in the learner. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Gloria Okbara. As Dr. Gloria, are you there? Okay. Then I'm going to. It's like she is not okay. I'm going to move over.
Yes,
to,
yeah.
oh,
I'm here.
Okay. So your question is, how can educators balance empathy and discipline in a way that strengthens both students' performance and emotional well-being? Over to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. There are two key words here in discipline. Yes, they must be disciplined, but how do we do it? I think that's how do we balance correctly the child may be wrong. In the first place, you have to build that relationship. Is there any relationship? Because if relationship, even when you are giving some not even correction, so not enter. The first one is correct. Maybe calling by names, even nicknames that are for everything, maybe at home and all. You can actually gently correct or discipline, and you achieve it. Set clear and consistent expectations. I'm surprised on classes when you enter, you won't believe. Some now will come to the same thing. So you have to have empathy or show empathy on them, but maintain the rules. Set clear and consistent rules. Don't apply it today, the next time you don't apply it. Discipline is because you have to restore sanity and not just punitive measures that you're trying to do. Today, something happened in my school. A learner looked at a teacher, I don't know what the teacher did, and he just asked the teacher, are you okay? So when they brought him to me, I asked him a question, how old are you? Do you have any in your house or your dad? Okay, if your dad should bring someone of age in your house, and what your dad is telling you is that same child, ask him, who is your dad or uncle? If he's okay, how will he feel? His first sounds right. I said, that's right now. Then it's up before you. Can you ask me such a question? He said no. So what am I trying to? Discipline is there to restore sanity. The way I use it on him, he now realized where he erred. So it depends on the measures we are putting in place. Misbehavior and distress, they are two different things. So we have to study the pattern of the learners and know the best way to encourage them. We have to encourage their voices. I allowed him to express why he did it. So it's a way of encouraging students' voice and allow them to participate. As I was asking, he was asking, answering me, and I made him to understand he is truly wrong. And when I sent him to apologize, he went, came back, and gave me the feedback that the teacher did not answer him. I made him to understand that the teacher must not answer because he's angry, and he has the right to be angry. So we need to explain to them. High expectation with support. Some of them need extra help. Autism, dyslexia, any form of disability, let's help them. Culture of belonging. Let's avoid bullying by all means. Even the learners bully teachers. So we make them know that emotional can be both learner's way or teacher's way. So we model that emotional recognition or regulation we want them to have. Let's model them. Self-control. Yes, he must have committed something wrong. How do you react to their actions? They look at us and observe what we do. So I conclude in this way. Empathy plus discipline will help the learners perform better in academics. But the main thing is that they have to be emotionally healthy, responsible, and socially aware of themselves and rights that they have. In all, let's fight with love. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. Your response captures the delicate balance between compassion and accountability, reminding us that discipline rooted in empathy creates environments where learners can truly thrive. Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. Thank you. And I'm going to quickly move over to Ambassador Rajiv Kumar Agrawal as he responds to the question, in what ways can emotional intelligence strengthen leadership decision making during educational crisis or disruptions? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gabriel ma'am. I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to speak on an important topic: how emotional intelligence strengthens leadership, educational crisis, or disruption. I know we say that educational crisis may come in many forms: pandemics, natural disasters, social unrest, technology failures, or sudden policy changes. During such situations, leaders in education are expected to make quick and effective decisions. However, successful leadership is not based only on intelligence or authority. It also depends on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence means the ability to understand, manage, and respond to emotions, both our own and those of others. It concludes self awareness, empathy, motivation, communication, and relationship and management. And now we say that first, emotional intelligence helps leaders remain calm under pressure in times of crisis, fear, and confusion spread quickly among students, teachers, and parents. A leader can panic and make balanced decisions, and leadership creates confidence in the institution. Leaders commonly encourage, carefully communicate, and people differently. Some students may struggle emotionally, financially, or academically. Teachers may face stress and group challenges. Leaders with empathy consider human needs before making policies. As a result, decisions become more inclusive and supportive. Fourth, emotional intelligence extends teamwork and collaboration. Educational crisis cannot be solved by one person alone. Leaders who respect others, teams, opinions, and encourage cooperation
I had some I had some network issues, so I had to connect with my phone immediately. So thank you very much. Your insight clearly
Thank you,
shows
ma'am.
that
Thank you, ma'am.
emotionally intelligent leadership provides calmness, clarity, and compassion during uncertain times, enabling institutions to respond more effectively to challenges. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
All right, so I'm going to
Thank you,
move
ma'am.
over to any second. Please excuse me. Okay, I'm going to move over to Dr. Rita. Dr. Rita, hold on, let me get your question.
Thank you. Good
sister.
morning.
All right, good morning. Please go ahead with your question. I need to say that. Continue.
Okay, I will read my question. No problem.
Yes, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Gloria. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for letting me express my knowledge. Well, the question is, how can emotional intelligence be embedded into the teacher leadership practices to improve both instructional quality and student well-being? Well, I think that we must first recognize the fundamental truth. We cannot give what we do not have. A teacher leader cannot foster well-being in a student if they are running on empty. Therefore, embedding emotional intelligence in leadership is not a soft skill luxury. It is an administrative, academic, and deeply human necessity. For generations, academic leadership has prioritized cognitive mastery, the accumulation of knowledge, the rigor of evaluations, the technical compliance. While these elements are essential for instructional quality, but they are entirely insufficient for their own. True instructional quality is not just about what we teach, but how we make our students feel while they learn. When a teacher leader operates with high emotional intelligence, they transform the classroom from a space of mere information transfer into a sanctuary of human development. To achieve this, leaders must master three foundational pillars of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, recognizing our own emotional triggers, stress levels, and biases before stepping into the classroom or a faculty meeting. Empathy, the capacity to see a struggling student or a stressed colleague not as a problem to be solved, but as a human being to be understood. And emotional regulation, the ability to respond rather than react in a high-pressure educational environments. Let us examine the beautiful symbiotic relationship between emotional intelligence, instructional quality, and student well-being. They are not separate goals. They are two sides of the same coin. When a teacher leader models emotional intelligence, the academic culture shifts. Teachers who feel emotionally supported by their leaders design learning experiences, better learning experiences. In turn, when these teachers bring emotional intelligence to the classroom, they create environments where it is safe to fail. As we know, true learning only happens when students feel enough to make mistakes. Instructional quality skyrockets when fear is replaced by curiosity. We are witnessing a global crisis in students' mental health. Anxiety, isolation, and burnout are prevalent. When teacher leaders embedded emotional intelligence into their daily practice, they actively protect students' well-being. They validate emotions. They teach resilience, not through lectures, but through their own calm presence. They remind their students that their dignity as human beings are far more important than any grade on a report card. But how do we move this vision from a theory to a reality? How do we embed it practically? Well, first, human-centric institutional curricula. We must explicitly integrate emotional intelligence and soft skills training into professional development frameworks for educators. Just as we train teachers on a new digital technologies, we must train them as an active listening and conflict resolutions. Creating spaces for dialogue. We need to replace rigid top-down administrative meetings with collaborative circles where teachers can voice their challenges without fear of judgment. Peace education begins with how we treat our educators. And the last one, through the lens of dignity. Every policy, every evaluation, every instructional strategy must pass the test of human dignity. If an educational practice compromises the emotional well-being of a teacher or a student, it is a practice that needs to be redesigned. So, cheerleader, our legacy will not be measured by the walls of our institutions or the complexity of our syllabi. Our legacy will be written in the resilience, the empathy, and the well-being of the generations we guide. Let us commit our leading with both the mind and the heart. Let us ensure that our walk through education is marked by a deep, unwavering commitment to emotional intelligence, instructional excellence, and above all, human dignity. Thank you very much, and I am sorry for the minutes I took.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rita, for that remarkable contribution. Your response for leadership and educational environment where both teachers and learners can flourish academically, socially. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to welcome our next panelist, Ambassador Laila Taik, as she responds to the question, how can teachers be trained to recognize and manage their own emotional triggers in classroom settings? Over to you, Ambassador Laila Taik.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Distinguished educators of AWTE, Global Intellectual Exchange, respected educators, leaders, and participants from all around the world. My name is Mrs. Leila Taik from Morocco, educator, trainer, and regional coordinator under the Ministry of Education of Morocco. It is truly an honor to join you today to discuss the essential topic in education and leadership, how teachers can be trained to recognize and manage their own emotional triggers in classroom settings. Teaching is not only an intellectual profession, it is also deeply emotional. Every day, teachers interact with students who come from different backgrounds, abilities, behaviors, and emotional realities. In the middle of lesson planning, for example, in the classroom management, assessment, and personal responsibilities, teachers may experience stress, frustration, anxiety, or emotional exhaustion. These emotions are natural for a teacher because a teacher is a human being. However, when emotional triggers are not recognized or managed effectively, they can affect communication, decision making for a teacher in the classroom climate, and even students' learning outcomes. They can affect the students' outcomes, of course. So the first step in training teachers, in helping them develop self-awareness. Teachers need opportunities to reflect on questions such as, what situation make me feel stressed or overwhelmed? Another question very important to be asked is, which students' behaviors trigger my emotional reflections? Also, how do I usually respond under pressure? So these are three main questions that a teacher should keep in mind in order to be aware of that emotional status. Reflections, journals, peer discussions, coaching sessions, and emotional check-ins can help teachers identify their emotional patterns. When teachers become aware of their triggers, they gain the power to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. The second important area is emotional regulation strategies. Teachers' training programs should include practical techniques such as mindfulness, breathing exercises, stress management practices, and positive communication skills. Even simple strategies such as pausing before responding, using calm language, or reframing negative thoughts can transform classroom interactions. Another powerful strategy is the creation of supportive professional communities. Teachers should not feel isolated. Mentorship programs, collaborative learning communities, and well-being workshops create safe space where educators can share experiences, challenges, and solutions. Sometimes simply feeling heard and supported can reduce emotional pressure significantly. In addition, schools and educational leaders play a crucial role. Emotional intelligence should not be treated as an optional soft skill. It should be integrated into professional development programs and school culture. Leaders who model empathy, active listening, and emotional balance inspire teachers to do the same with students. Technology and AI can also support emotional well-being in education. Digital tools can provide reflective surveys, well-being tracking, stress management resources, and collaborative platforms that encourage teacher support and communication. However, technology should always serve human connections, not replace it. Most importantly, emotionally intelligent teachers create emotionally safe classrooms. When teachers manage their emotions effectively, students feel respected, motivated, and confident to learn. Emotional intelligence strengthens empathy, classroom relationship, conflicts resolution, and students' engagement. So I would like to conclude with these thoughts. A teacher who understands and manages their emotions does not only teach lessons, they inspire lives, build, build trust, and shape future generations with compassion and wisdom. Thank you so much for your attention. It is a pleasure to share this exchange with all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Laila. Your response highlights that self-awareness is one of the most powerful tools as an educator. What a powerful tool that an educator can possess, as emotionally regulated teachers create healthier and more productive learning environments. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to go, I need to move back to Vietnam. I want to welcome Ambassador Quach tonight. Ambassador Jasmine, your question is, what role does emotional intelligence play in fostering collaboration and peer learning among students from different backgrounds? Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria, and good evening, everyone. I'm very sorry today I can turn on the camera because it's broken. Thank you for understanding. Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Quách Thị Nhài and can call me Teacher Jasmine. And I'm truly honored to be part of tonight's discussion on emotional intelligence, effective teaching and leadership. Today, I would like to share my thought on this question. What role does emotional intelligence play in fostering cooperation and peer learning among students from different backgrounds? From my experience in education, I believe emotional intelligence is one of the most important skills in today's classrooms. And because in reality, students do not only learn with people who think like them, speak like them, or come from the same backgrounds, they learn in diverse environments, and diversity can either become a strength or a barrier. I have seen many situations where group work falls because not because they didn't lack knowledge, but because they lack emotional awareness. Some students did not know how to listen. Some were afraid to speak. Others struggled different opinion too quickly. So the real challenge in collaborative learning in not only academic ability, it is the ability to understand and work with people and see exactly where emotional intelligence becomes powerful. When students develops emotional intelligence, they learn how to listen with respect, how to communicate without attack other, how to manage disagreements, and how to understand different perspectives. And a result, learning becomes more effective and more meaningful. In this of competing, students begin supporting each other in this of feeling exclusive, feel values. And when students feel emotionally safe, participants increasing naturally. And practical team, I believe schools should intentionally create opportunity for emotional intelligence to grow. For example, collaborative project, peer discussion activity, reflective conversations, and multicultural teamwork, and classroom environment where every student feels heard. Even small action from teacher makes a difference. A teacher who listens partly, encourages, respect dialogues, and modern empathy is always teaching emotional intelligence every day. And I strong believe this. It's not only preparing students for academic success, it's preparing them for real life because its future success will not depend only what students know, but also on how well they work with others. So I would like to end with this thought. Students may remember what we teach, but they will always remember how we make them feel while learning together. And when emotional intelligence becomes part of education, classroom become more collaborative, more inclusive, and more human. Thank you very much for attending me today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kwastinai. Your response beautifully demonstrates how emotional intelligence encourages respect, cooperation, and mutual understanding among diverse groups of learners. Thank you very much. We appreciate. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Philippines. I'm going to be welcoming Professor Nobeto Paranga Jr. as he responds to the question, what does emotionally intelligent leadership look like in practice within schools undergoing transformation or reform?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. It's an honor to be here again.
Good
To
evening,
answer my
sir.
question, emotionally intelligent leadership in schools undergoing transformation or reform is the capacity to guide change not only through policies and performance targets, but through empathy, psychological awareness, and strong human connection. It recognizes that school reform is not just institutional, it is deeply personal because it affects the mental health, identity, and emotional stability of teachers, students, and staff. In practice, this kind of leadership begins with awareness of mental health during change. When schools undergo reforms, such as curriculum shifts, new evaluation systems, or technology integration, stress levels naturally increase. Teachers may feel burnout from additional uh, peer pressure, adapting to new expectations. An emotionally intelligent leader does not ignore these signs. Instead, they actively recognize them. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many school systems worldwide suddenly shifted to online learning. Uh, in schools where leaders like that, uh, um, principals did not only focus on compliance with modules and deadlines. They also asked how our teachers um, coping mentally and emotionally with this transition. Some even reduced workload expectations temporarily and provided mental health breaks or peer support system. This helps prevent burnout and sustain productivity. A second practice is creating psychologically safe environments. In a reforming school, teachers should feel safe to say, I am struggling with this new system without fear of humiliation or punishment. An emotionally intelligent leader might respond, it's okay to find this challenging. Let's identify what support you need. This reduces anxiety and encourages openness, which is essential for both mental well-being and professional growth. For example, in many education systems implementing new competency-based assessments, teachers initially resisted due to confusion and pressure. In schools where leaders provided mentoring sessions instead of strict enforcement, teachers reported lower stress and higher confidence in adapting to the reform. The difference was not the policy, it was the emotional support system behind that policy. Emotionally intelligent leadership also involves early recognition of burnout and stress in class. A good leader observes teachers overworking, withdrawing, or showing emotional fatigue instead of waiting for breakdowns. A well-known example can be seen in Finland's education system, where teacher well-being is considered central to reform success. Teachers are trusted professionals, given autonomy and supported rather than micromanaged. Finally, emotionally intelligent leaders model emotional balance themselves during high-pressure events like accreditation, inspections, or policy transition. Thank you very much, ma'am, again, for giving me opportunity to share my insights. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Professor Paranga. Your response clearly illustrates that transformational leadership is most effective when it is guided by empathy, communication, and emotional awareness. And change becomes sustainable when people feel valued throughout the process. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your presentation and your response. And moving on, going back to India, I'm going to be welcoming Ambassador Nilam Saxena as she responds to the question, in what ways can emotionally intelligent leadership support gender-sensitive and equitable learning environments? Over to you, Ambassador Nilam.
Good evening, one and all present here. Thank you very much, respected Gloria ma'am, to giving me a wonderful opportunity. And I have to answer the question, in what ways can emotionally intelligent leadership support gender sensitive and equitable learning environment? First of all, I want to say thanks to Mr. Osama also, because sometimes he remind us about the special day, and today is the special day of tea day, and tea is my favorite, and I think tea can balance so many emotions when we take one cup of tea with someone. So I think we manage many things emotionally. And my answer is emotional intelligence leadership means and understanding, respecting, and managing emotions while treating everyone fairly and kindly. In schools, such leadership create a safe, respectful, and motivating atmosphere for all students. Such leadership provides equal opportunities to every student without discrimination, understands the feelings and needs of both boys and girls, builds confidence, empathy, and cooperation among students, encourage respectful communication and positive behavior, helps reduce bias, stereotype, and inequality in the classrooms. When school and teachers work emotional intelligence, schools becomes not only the centers of education, but also the example of equality, respect, and humanity. Here we are talking about the respecting emotions, respecting values, and being kind-hearted. But one of the things I had spoken in starting, managing emotions. It is also important for a leader As today's in my school, I want to give one example. There was a small conflict between my accountant and my peon. Somewhat they were hurting by each other, and really they were fighting. Means somewhat cold war and somewhat seriously they were fighting to each other by talking. And there were so much tears, and all were crying somewhat in my office. But at that time, I had to balance, I had to manage the emotions of both of them. That time I became tight. Inside I was soft, but outside I had to show my behavior tight because I had to manage the emotions of both of them. So a leader can manage everything. If student is showing too much emotion, that is also harmful. But if student is not showing any emotion, that is also harmful for the students as well as for the teachers. So we have to create the emotions, we have to manage the emotions, and we have to balance the emotions also. So in my conclusion, a true leader is one who makes every student feel valued and respect and balance the emotions. Thank you very much to one and all present here. Namaste, India.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neelam, for that. Your insight beautifully highlights how emotionally intelligent leadership promotes fairness, dignity, and inclusion, ensuring every learner feels respected and empowered. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate your presentation. And I'm going to move over to Ambassador Lagmani Kumari as she responds to the question, what practices can teachers adopt to maintain emotional balance while supporting students with diverse learning needs? Over to you, Ambassador Lagmani. Okay, if she's not here, I'm going to be calling on our next panelist, Ambassador Ganesh, Ambassador Ganesh, as he responds to the question, how can emotional intelligence help educators navigate generational gaps between teachers and digitally native learners? Over to you, Ambassador Ganesh Kandagatla.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Respected Gloria, ma'am, all the educators and participants from different nations. Good evening, one and all. My topic, as Madam said, my topic today is how can emotional intelligence help educators navigate generational leaders and digitally native learners. If you walk into almost any classroom today, you will see a familiar sight, a room full of students, their heads down, completely immersed in glowing screens. As educators who remember a world before smartphone, it is incredibly easy to look at this digital native generation and feel an immediate sense of disconnect. We might see isolation, dislike, or a lack of engagement. But if we look at this through the lens of emotional intelligence, we start to see something entirely different. The screen is not a barrier to connection, it is simply a new language. Generational gaps in education aren't about technology, they are about a gap in mutual understanding. And that is exactly where emotional intelligence becomes our greatest teaching tool. It starts with our own self awareness. When a student pulls out a phone mid lesson, our knee jerk emotional reaction might be frustration or a feeling that our authority is being challenged. Emotional intelligence prompts us to pause and hit the brakes on the frustration. Instead of reacting with a rigid put that away, emotional intelligence allows us to regulate our response. We can shift our perspective from this student is disrespecting my teaching to this student's environment has always conditioned them for instant feedback and high stimulation. How can I channel that energy? When we manage our own triggers, we prevent classrooms power struggles. We stop policing the technology and start guiding the human being behind it. The heart of emotional intelligence, however, is empathy. Being a digital native isn't just about owning a smartphone. It means growing overwhelming, hyper-connected, and intensely scrutinized digital ecosystem. The students face unique social anxieties and information overload that older generations never had to navigate. When we practice empathy, we stop viewing their digital habits as a deficit. Instead, we recognize their deep need for safety, validation, and authentic engagement. Technology can distribute data at lightning speed, but it has a glaring flaw. It cannot provide inspiration and it absolutely cannot provide empathy. Only a human teacher can do that. When students feel that their reality is understood, not judged, the generational friction begins dissolve. Finally, high emotional intelligence allows us to build relationship management that leverage the world. Instead of fighting the digital tide, we can invite them to use their native tools to investigate, analyze, and discover knowledge on their own terms. We become partners in their curiosity rather than gatekeepers of facts. Algorithms can grade quizzes and software can deliver content, but only emotional intelligence can bridge a generational divide. Leading with empathy and self-awareness, we transform the gap into a bridge of shared discovery. Thank you, madam. Thank you for.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Ganesh, for that amazing response. Your response shows us that emotional intelligence helps bridge generational differences by encouraging understanding, adaptability, and meaningful connection between educators and modern learning. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate. And I'm going to be moving over to Dr. Hussein Mogdum as he responds to the question in moments of conflict or resistance in learning environments. How can emotionally intelligent leadership transform tension into meaningful growth? Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. So in moments of conflict or resistance within learning, in moment of conflict or resistance within learning environments, emotionally intelligent leadership plays a powerful role in transforming tension into meaningful growth. Conflict is natural wherever diverse people, ideas, and perspectives come together. However, the difference between destruction and development lies in how leaders respond. An emotionally intelligent leader does not react with anger, ego, or authority alone. Instead, they respond with empathy, self awareness, patience, and understanding. They listen actively to students, teachers, and team members and try to understand the emotions behind the disagreement. This creates an atmosphere of trust, psychological safety, where individuals feel respected and valued. For instance, when students resist change or become disengaged, emotionally intelligent leaders do not simply punish or criticize them, they explore the root causes, whether it is stress, fear, lack of confidence, or misunderstanding. By addressing emotions with compassion and communication, leaders can turn resistance into motivation and collaboration. Moreover, emotionally intelligent leadership encourages open dialogue and mutual respect. It teaches individuals how to manage emotions, solve problems respectfully and peacefully, and work together despite differences. In educational settings, this creates stronger relationships, healthier classrooms, and culture where mistakes become opportunities for learning rather than for learning. So, conflict, when managed wisely, can actually inspire innovation, creativity, and personal development. Tension can push people to think differently, communicate better, and grow emotionally and intellectually. Emotionally intelligent leaders guide people through these difficult moments with calmness and vision, transforming challenges into lessons and resistance into resilience. In today's rapidly changing world, educational institutions need leaders who lead not only with intelligence but also with emotional wisdom, because true leadership is not about controlling people, it is about understanding them, empowering them, and helping them to grow together. Thank you very much for listening me so carefully.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hussein. Your response reminds us that conflict, when managed with emotional intelligence, can become an opportunity for reflection, healing, and transformation rather than division. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I'm going to welcome Ambassador Dorcas Akiwungum Opeyinka as she responds to the question, how can teachers use emotional intelligence to inspire intrinsic motivation rather than relying on internal rewards? Over to you, Dorcas.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dorcas Akin. Yeah, education is not only about teaching subjects and achieving academic success. It is what is about understanding emotion, building relationship, and create positive learning environments. So, emotional intelligence plays a vital role in effective teaching because it helps educators communicate better, handle challenges calmly, motivate learners, build trust, and inspire positive behavior. The question says, how can teachers use emotional intelligence to inspire intrinsic motivation rather than relying on internal rewards? Teachers can use emotional intelligence to inspire intrinsic motivation by helping students enjoy learning, feel value, and develop confidence rather than depending mainly on reward or punishment. And here are some keywords that can help educators. Number one is that, build positive relationship so that students feel respected, heard, and emotionally safe. Then also, you try to connect your lesson to life scenario, that is to real life, to make learning meaningful, relevant, and insightful. Another point is that it also gives students choice in activities. That's what we call free choice of activity, whereby students can go pick any activity that they want and they work with it. So giving students choice in activities and projects to promote what independence and ownership. Then another point is that you have to encourage effort, creativity, improvement instead of relying only on prize or grades. So supporting students emotionally, help by it helps them to overcome fear, frustration, and self-doubt. So creating creating a safe, classroom environment where mistakes are treated, as learning opportunities. So modeling enterprising and passion for learning to inspire students, So when teachers apply emotionally, emotion, that is when teachers apply emotional intelligence effectively, students become more self-motivated, confident, curious, resilient, and engaged in lifelong learning because they learn for personal growth and fulfillment rather than external reward. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dorcas Akin. Your insight beautifully shows that emotionally intelligent educators inspire learners from within by nurturing purpose, confidence, and genuine passion for learning. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And moving on, I'm going to be welcoming our next speaker, Ambassador Aklimia Fahad, as she responds to the question, what role does emotional intelligence play in shaping resilient educators who can thrive in rapidly changing educational systems? Over to you, Ambassador Aklimia.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's always very elated to be part of such prolific pedestal. And once again, thank you very much, Dr. Gloria, for assigning me such a wonderful topic. Emotional intelligence plays a vital role in shaping resilient educators by enabling them to manage stress, adapt to change, and build meaningful relationships with students, parents, and colleagues. In rapidly evolving educational systems, teachers with emotional intelligence remain calm during academic pressures, understand the emotional needs of learners, and respond with empathy rather than frustration. For example, a teacher handling a weak performing student with patience and encouragement often transforms their child's confidence and performance. Similarly, a school leader who listens to staff concerns during curriculum changes fosters trust, teamwork, institutional stability. Emotional intelligence, therefore, is not merely a skill, it is a leadership strength that empowers educators to thrive, inspire, and sustain positive learning environments despite challenges and uncertainties. I would like to end my talk with a short, beautiful poem. A teacher's strength is not in command alone, but in kindness and patience gracefully shown. Through change and challenge, calm they remain, turning struggles into lessons, not pain. They listen with empathy, guide with care, building young minds through trust they share. For emotional wisdom lights the way, helping both teachers and students grow each day. Thank you from my side.
Thank you very much. Such a beautiful poem. I love it. And your
Mm.
insights clearly demonstrate that emotional intelligence equips educators with resilience, adaptability, and inner strength needed to navigate constant change in education. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to move back to Ambassador Lagmani Kumari as she responds to the question, what practices can teachers adopt to maintain emotional balance while supporting students with diverse learning needs?
Thank you, Dr. Gulaya ma'am. Respected Gulaya ma'am, Rania ma'am, Kamalani sir, Nai sir, and everyone. Good evening, everyone, to every joining from around the globe. Greeting to the world from the holy land of Lord Buddha in my proud state, Bihar, India. I come from the land of Nalanda, which is the first light. Respected Gularia ma'am, Rania ma'am, and everyone, and panelists. The educator present here today. Golamba Register, I am Lavani Kumari from India. It is an absolute honor to stand on this prestigious platform. Today, our theme is emotional intelligence for effective teaching and leadership. As a teacher, I treat my students just like my own children. I believe that a friendly behavior is the best way to build emotion intelligence. First point, I believe that no child can learn is fear. When we treat diverse learner with mother's love and friends behavior, their fear completely disappears. Second point, a friendly environment makes children feel free, uh, feel free they do their work impactfully, ask questions without hesitation, and this boosts their self-confidence. Third point, I trust Tech Academy marks. I take their emotion progress. Uh, I motivated them by celebrating their small weeks and the whole class campus for them. Fourth point, to involve every diverse learner, I do not use traditional method. I use innovative games, poems, and stories. This makes learning very and fun for everyone. Fifth point, I regularly meet the parents. I guide them not to be angry or hear their children at home. When we combine our love, the progress of the child becomes double. In the end, I believe when a teacher becomes a friend, agree, every single child is ready to fly and make history. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Lagmani. Indeed, when you make your students your friends, you see them grow rapidly without fear. Thank you very much. And you emphasize the importance of patience, emotional regulation, and also reflective practice in helping which help educators remain effective while meeting diverse needs of their learners. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going
Thank
to
you so
move
much.
over to Professor Professor Suraya Bano as she responds to the question, how can teacher education programs be restructured to prioritize emotional intelligence as a core competency rather than the supplementary skills? Over to you, ma'am.
Very good evening. This is Dr. Surya from India. Restructuring teacher education requires shifting from elective workshop to immersive competency-based frameworks by treating emotional intelligence as a foundational pillar on par with pedagogy. Programs can produce resilient educators who naturally cultivate safe, engaging, and inclusive learning environments. The key strategies for restructuring teacher education program to prioritize EI are embedded EI into core curriculum. Instead of offering soft skill seminar, teacher training must integrate EI concept directly into foundational courses. Mandatory modules require comprehensive coursework in the four core EI pillars: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, empathy and perspective taking. Train pre-service teachers to interpret non-verbal emotional cues and respond relationally rather than reacting impulsively to challenging behavior. Second, experimental and reflective training. Use emotional generals require daily reflective writing such as emotion where student teachers examine their emotions, triggers, and evaluate their impact on classroom performance. Simulated scenarios implement simulation learning where pre-service teachers practicing high emotion scenarios such as student conflicts, parent communication, disciplinary issues. Peer mentoring, and coaching. Stabilize peer coaching groups where trainees discuss emotional challenges, share experiences, and receive constructive feedback on their relational approach. Number that competency based assessment and modeling. Emotion skill must be evaluated rigorously, ensuring they carry the same weight as academic and instructional metrics. Practice field evaluation. Access student teachers on their ability to build teacher student report, de-escalate conflicts, and manage classroom dynamics during practice terms. And align assignments with practice include reflective workbooks or portfolios there that requires trainees to set, track, and meet specific social, emotional, and developmental target as part of their assessment. Effectively, a teacher communicates empathically with diverse or struggling learners. Number four, sustained professional support. Continuous follow up. Replace one time workshop with ongoing mentoring and workshop that extend through the student teaching period. Focus on teachers' well being. Explicitly teach stress reduction techniques, self care routines, and resilience building to prevent burnout and ensure sustainable professional practice. Now, I conclude restructuring teacher education programs to prioritize emotional intelligence require shifting from a model that treats social emotional skill as peripheral soft skills to one that embeds them as foundational competencies required for effective teaching, student engagement, and educator well-being. This restructured program will produce teachers better equipped to build a strong, trusting relationship, manage classroom proactively, and promote a positive, inclusive environment conducive to both emotional and academic growth. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Professor Suraya Bano, for that thought-provoking contribution. You have challenged us to rethink teacher preparedness beyond content mastery and also to intentionally develop emotionally intelligent educators who can lead with both competence and compassion. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Sarika Kumari, as she speaks on how can teachers develop the emotional capacity to remain effective when working in under-resourced or high-pressure environments. Over to you.
Good evening, Gloria ma'am. And hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible. We can hear you.
Good evening, Gloria ma'am, and all aid. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, Gloria ma'am, and all educators from AWTE team. I started from online. A teacher emotional strength is often more powerful than the resources available in the classroom. Today, I would like to share my thoughts on the theme emotional intelligence for effective teaching and leadership. Teaching is not only about delivering lessons, it is about understanding emotion, building relationship, and remaining calm and positive even during difficult situations. Many teachers work in under-resourced school or high-pressure environment where there may be limited facilities, heavy workloads, and emotional stress. Yet every day, teachers continue to inspire students with dedication and hope. So, how can teachers develop the emotional capacity to remain effective in such environment? First, teacher must practice self-awareness. When we understand our own emotions, stress, and reactions, we become after at handling challenges peacefully. and emotionally balanced teacher create a positive and safe learning environment for students. Second, teachers need to strengthen empathy and human connection. Many students come from difficult social or family background. Sometimes they need understanding and encouragement more than instruction. I appreciate those teachers who listen patiently, support kindly, and help students feel valued and confident. Third, teachers should develop the habit of self-care and reflection. Emotional strength does not mean ignoring strength. It means learning healthy ways to manage it. Regarding reading, meditation, positive thinking, teamwork, and supportive conversation with colleagues can help teachers maintain emotional balance. I would like to share an example from rural schools in India in my behalf. Despite limited resources, overloaded classroom, and many challenges, teachers and I also continue to teach creatively using local materials, storytelling, and activity based learning. Their greatest strength is not technology or infrastructure, it is their emotional resilience and commitment toward students. Moving ahead, schools and educational leaders must also create supportive environment where teachers feel respected, heard, and appreciated. Emotional intelligence should not only be expected from teachers, it should also be supported by the education system. In conclusion, emotional intelligence is the foundation of effective learning, teaching, and leadership. When teachers develop patience, resilience, empathy, self awareness, and they not only overcome meaningful transformation in the lives of students. Thank you, Gloria ma'am, and listen me patiently. This is the
Thank you.
views of my
Thank
post.
you, Dr. Sarika. Thank you, Dr. Sarika. Your response is both inspiring and realistic, and it's reminding us that emotional resilience, self-care, and purpose-driven teaching remain essential, even in the face of difficult circumstances. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you. And moving on, I'm going to be welcoming Dr.
Thank you.
Samriti Mahajan as she speaks on how can emotionally intelligent teaching practices support students struggling with anxiety, disengagement, and low self-esteem.
Yeah, hi. A very good day to everyone, to distinguished educators, leaders, and fellow learners across the globe. So, I'll just start with a quotation that Daniel Goleman once said that in a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. And today we gathered to talk about what happens when those two minds work together in our classrooms. Our theme is emotional intelligence for effective teaching and leadership. And the question before us is very urgent these days. How can emotionally intelligent teaching practices support students struggling with anxiety, disengagement, or we can say the low self esteem? So, before starting, what we really need to know the classroom reality that why EI can't wait. So let's start with some data today that post 2020, the mental health landscape of education has changed. And current research, what it talks about, that a 2024 meta analysis in review educational research, which has covered more than 1.2 million students and discovered that 60% of adolescents report school related anxiety and 41% feel chronicle disengaged. OECD's PISA 2025 well-being module show low self-esteem directly, which correlates with a zero point 0.8 SD drop in academic performance. And according to Neuroscience Update, Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence's 2025 study confirmed that when a student is in amygdala hijack, anxiety, or we can say shame, the prefrontal cortex goes offline. No learning happens that time. So you can have the best pedagogy in the world, but an anxious brain can't receive it. In short, I would like to say that we are not just teaching some subjects randomly, but we are teaching nervous system directly. So what emotionally intelligent teaching looks like in practice these days? AI is not being nice, it's a skill set. The model must used in schools is a Goldsman 4 domains, which he suggested. That would be EI domain, teaching practices, and the impact on anxiety and disengagement. So the four models are the domains he suggested: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So a teacher should know that how these four domains need to be engaged in their class well. And for low self-esteem, the researcher is clear that competence plus belonging that will relate to confidence. An EI teacher builds both, so they give specific feedback. Your thesis improved because you added evidence here. That is versus good job for a student or a teacher. They create belongingness through micro affirmation using names, noticing efforts, and allowing safe failure. So from classroom to leadership, EI scales are. EI doesn't stop at the classroom door itself, but leadership sets emotional climate. And even with policies now, they say that AI is no longer optional. Global education policy has shifted from academic only to whole child. And recently in India's NAP 2020 plus 2024 guidelines, it has mandatory done that social emotional learning as core to foundational literacy. And CBSE itself now trains more than 1 million plus teachers in SEL competencies. And according to UNESCO's 2023 report, which I was reading yesterday when Dr. Gloria shared the title with me, that Happy Schools Framework, which lists almost emotional safety as a prerequisite for learning, but not for a luxury. So the message is that if we ignore emotions, we violate policy and pedagogy itself. So the call to action for US at AWTE, that so what do we do on Monday morning? So we need to regulate before you educate. A regulated adult were equivalent to a regulated room. So we also need to measure what matters and add one EI metric to your lesson plan. Today, 100% of students will be seen. How? By leading them with vulnerability, sharing an appropriate struggle. Research also shows that teacher vulnerable increases students' help seeking by 28%. So I'll end here where we begin with two minds. The thinking mind give us IBC, STEM, and strategy, whereas the feeling mind, it gives us trust, courage, and resilience. Our students are really struggling with anxiety, which don't need us to be perfect. They need us to be present. So, as Aristotle reminds us, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So, let's be the generation of teachers and leaders who teach both. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I love your ending. Thank you. And for shedding light on such an important issue. Your response reminds us that emotionally intelligent teaching has the power to restore confidence, inspire hope, and reconnect learners to their educational journey. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to be welcoming Dr. Professor Shanu Banji as she speaks on what strategies can school leaders adopt to ensure emotional intelligence to ensure emotional intelligence become part of institutional culture rather than individual. Sorry, I need to, something is covering what I was reading. All right, please go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
The topic provided to me, what strategies can students adopt to ensure emotional intelligence become part of institutional culture rather than an individual trait. To embed emotional intelligence into an institutional culture, school leaders must shift into designing systematic structures. This requires integrating emotional data into daily operations, policies, and evaluation frameworks. How does structural integration happen? We have to update job descriptions, include explicit emotional intelligence competencies in hiring profiles. We have to revamp interview protocols, use behavioral questions to test empathy and conflict resolution. We have to incorporate into evaluations measure leaders and staff on collaboration and emotional regulation. We also have to allocate budget lines to dedicate funding specially for continuous institutional emotional intelligence development. Let's look now to daily routines and rituals. We have to normalize check-ins, begin staff meetings with brief emotional temperature checks. We have to embed reflection time, build structural pauses into schedules with high-stress school events. We have to establish peer mentorship, peer educators to provide mutual emotional and professional support. We have to create feedback loops to use anonymous channels to safely gather staff sentiment data. There is also a need for professional capacity building. We have to provide collective training, run school-wide workshops so everyone gets a common language, can share a common language. We have to train for de-escalation, to equip all staff with psychological safety and conflict tools. We have to coach school leaders, ensure the executive team receives advanced emotional coaching, and we have to share case studies, analyze real institutional failures and successes in emotional management. There is also need for modeling and communication. Practice radical transparency, share why behind tough administrative decisions openly, admit leadership mistakes, celebrate relational wins, and audit institutional language. The most important thing is all learners are more likely to have a sense of belonging when educators are able to empathize with learners from different backgrounds, comprehend their emotional needs, and establish emotional safe settings. Emotional intelligence is emerging as a crucial ability for school administrators in a fast-changing world characterized by cultural variety and interconnections. It gives the ability to inclusive learning environments, empathic leadership, and student success in a worldwide culture. We can indeed make a big advancement in building a more just, peaceful, and emotionally intelligent education environment by embracing emotional intelligence in school administration. Thank you for listening to me so attentively. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Professor. Your insight beautifully stressed the importance of embedding emotional intelligence into school systems and leadership structures so it becomes a shared culture that shapes every interaction within the learning community. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to welcome Dr. Rania as she speaks on How can educators practically cultivate emotional intelligence in science-driven or highly analytical learning environments without losing rigor and academic depth? Over to you, Dr.
Yes,
Rani.
good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gloria. In the same spirit with Dr. Samriti before, I will start with some statistics because the numbers we cannot ignore matters. Why emotional intelligence matters? The importance of emotional intelligence in education is uh, it's supported by alarming global trends, research findings. I mean that it's not something philosophical or abstract. So according to the World Health Organization, approximately 1 in 7 adolescents globally experiences a mental health disorder, which affects around 14% of young people worldwide. Why? We know more or less the reasons: academic pressure, emotional distress. Studies also show that nearly 70 to 80% of students report experiencing significant academic stress at some point during their academic journey, particularly in highly competitive and analytical disciplines such as medicine or engineering and science in general. Daniel Goleman, who is the brain behind this theory of emotional intelligence, the one who popularized this theory, he says that emotional intelligence may account for nearly 67% of competencies associated with effective leadership and workplace success. Also, all the reports of the World Economic Forum say that emotional intelligence is identified among the top future workforce skills alongside with analytical thinking, with resilience, problem solving, etc. So research from workplace studies suggests that approximately 90% of top performing professionals possess high emotional intelligence competencies, and this shows, of course, that cognitive intelligence alone does not guarantee excellence. So the most, however, alarming reality, the most cruel reality, is this: that educational systems continue to invest enormous resources in improving cognitive outcomes, while at the same time they overlook the emotional conditions that define whether learning can happen effectively in the first place. If a student, for example, is overwhelmed, if he's anxious or emotionally disconnected or psychologically exhausted, even the most rigorous educational design may fail to reach its full potential. So what I would suggest as a practical strategies for cultivating emotional intelligence, as you asked me, without reducing academic depth. The first we can do is try to embed the reflection within scientific learning. For example, following laboratory activities or projects or problem-solving exercises, educators can introduce reflective prompts like what challenges did you encounter, how did you respond emotionally, how did the teamwork influence outcomes. Because reflection transforms technical activities into opportunities for self-awareness without altering the scientific context. Fourth, incorporate collaboration problem solving, try to normalize failure by discussing the historical scientific failures, the growth processes. Try to use case studies, case-based and human-centered learning. For example, medical education can include basic narrative. Projects may examine the social impact. Artificial intelligence may discuss ethics. And practice emotional intelligent communication. These practices include usually how to acknowledge student effort, how to encourage respectful discussion. Finally, I want to say that emotional intelligence catalyst for innovation, and individuals with emotional intelligence often demonstrate strong leadership abilities. They have greater adaptability, enhanced critical thinking, and more active teamwork. So thank you much, Dr. Gloria.
Thank you very
And
much, Dr.
congratulations
Rania,
to
for that. Thank you very much. You have beautifully stated that emotional intelligence and academic excellence are not opposite but complementary forces. And indeed, when learners feel emotionally connected, analytical thinking becomes even more meaningful and impactful. Thank you very much, Dr. Rani. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Dr. Binita Prakash as she speaks on how teachers can be trained to recognize and manage their own emotional triggers in classroom settings. Over to you, Dr. Binita.
Very good evening to one and all amazing intellectuals of AWTE family. As my topic, how can teachers be trained to recognize and manage their own emotional triggers in classroom settings? Students may forget what we taught, but they never forget how we made them feel. Teaching is not only about managing a classroom, it is also about managing ourselves. Every teacher experiences emotional triggers. Students talking back, constant interruptions, lack of attention, or pressure from workload. If these emotions are not recognized, they can turn into anger, frustration, or harsh reactions that affect the learning environment. So, how can teachers be trained to recognize and manage these emotional triggers? First, teachers need self awareness training. They should learn to pause and ask themselves, what exactly is upsetting me right now? Sometimes it is not the student's behavior, but our own stress, fatigue, or expectations that create the reaction. Second, schools should conduct role play and reflective workshops. Real classroom situations can be acted out, so teachers practice calm responses instead of emotional reactions. Reflections journals can also help teachers identify patterns in their emotions. Third, teachers need simple emotional regulations techniques. What techniques are that? Deep breathing, pausing before reacting, positive self talk, and lastly, using respectful language even during conflict. Let me give a small illustration. Imagine a student repeatedly disturbing the class. An emotionally triggered response would be, get out of my class right. But a trained teacher pauses, takes a breath, and says, I can see you are restless today. Let's talk after class. But right now, I need your cooperation. The second response maintains dignity, reduces conflict, and keeps the classroom emotionally safe. Finally, schools must create a culture where teachers also receive emotional support because emotionally balanced teachers create emotionally secure students. A teacher who controls emotions does not lose authority. In fact, they gain respect. Thank you so much. That's all about from myself about the topic. I think I have completed all the triggers. So thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Your response highlights that self-awareness is one of the most powerful tools an educator can possess. As emotionally regulated teacher creates healthier and more productive learning environments where students feel relaxed to learn. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to Ambassador Inem Joy as she speaks on what is the role of emotional intelligence in building long-term mentorship relationship between teachers and students. Over to you, Inem.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Okay, so before we move on, first of all, we need to understand what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence means the ability to understand how emotion, control how emotion, understand other people's feelings, and respond kindly and wisely. A teacher who stays calm when students make mistakes is showing emotional intelligence. Okay, for example, can you add a scenario where students are often emotion in the class, like maybe they are afraid or excited and all those things. And also, why emotional intelligence matters in mentorship? Why do we need emotional intelligence in mentorship? Mentorship becomes stronger when teachers listen carefully, show empathy, encourage students, correct with patience, and build trust. Without these things, we are going to have a classroom where there is no trust and fear, which will be, a classroom that will be built on fear, where students will not be able to communicate with the teachers. So, the result of this mentorship say that students feel safe, they feel valued, and they are confident, they feel that they can ask questions freely. Now, what are the ways teacher can build long-term relationship? By communicating respectfully, be patient with learners, understand students' differences, praise efforts, not only success. Even if they fail, whatever they do, even if they are not getting it right, we should be able to praise them for being able to attempt it. And by doing that, we are able to bring out their self confidence. Then support students emotionally. And in conclusion, emotional intelligence improves communication. It helps teachers understand students better. It creates trust and lasting mentorship. And then happy and supported students learn better. Students may forget lessons. I want to leave this quote that students may forget lessons, but they can never forget how a teacher made them feel. I know that sometimes when my children get home, they talk about what they talk about how I made them feel. My reaction to every of their actions, whether the negative reaction or the positive one. But most times they don't even remember what I told them in the class. So that is the reason why it's important that we should achieve the great teachers teach with both the mind and the heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Inem, for that amazing presentation. Sorry. Okay, your contribution highlights that mentorship rooted in emotional intelligence creates trust, guidance, and lasting a positive impact in the lives of the learners. And I just like you said that students can forget what you taught them, but they will never forget how you taught them. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate your presentation. And moving to our last but not the least speaker for today, I welcome Ambassador Nahid Raza as he speaks on how can emotional intelligence bridge cultural diversity in classrooms to create truly inclusive global learning spaces. Over to you, sir.
I am very thankful to respected Gloria ma'am for creating opportunity for all of us. And I could see today that more than 40 participants were there in this family of a walk through education. Family is bigger, wiser, better, and more effective. So, greetings to all. Emotional intelligence is crucial in teaching and learning. When you apply emotional intelligence, you apply connection, you apply respect, you apply understanding, and above all, you apply listening. If you want to be a leader, the most important thing in leader is emotional intelligence, because you adapt, and adaptability is the first skill of 21st century. If we keep on developing ourselves and we keep on understanding people, earlier I was in big school of industrial town as PGT English. I had very good relation with everyone, aunties, teachers, administrators. Thereafter, I moved as principal to Hills. I understood people because technology would not help until you communicate with people. Nothing will help until you communicate with people. The best art is to live with people. It means live together. So we need to emphasize on emotional intelligence if we want to establish ourselves. Proficiency performs. Rapport establishes people. If you want to work anywhere with any group, you need to be emotionally intelligent. For being emotionally intelligent means to respect each culture, each individual, each tradition, and we need to accept it with heart because every tradition is useful, every individual is respectable. This is all, this is my submission. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nahid, for emphasizing the power of empathy and understanding in multicultural learning spaces. And your contribution highlights that emotional intelligence is truly a global language capable of reuniting diverse learners beyond borders, background, and beliefs. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to our distinguished panelists for these powerful insights and to our audience for your thoughtful engagement. Today's discussion reminds us that education is not only about instruction, it's about connection. And emotional intelligence remains the bridge that transforms teaching into impact and leadership into legacy. So let us continue to nurture emotionally intelligent educators who will shape not only minds, but also the heart and futures of our learners. Thank you very much and have a beautiful night's rest. Thank you all for staying to the end of the session. We've spent 2 hours today for this session. It's really a long one. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you.
And please turn on your cameras. Let's take our pictures before we leave. And I want us to, we're going to be trying out something new. We discussed it before we started the session today. We're going to be trying out our YouTube. So we might try out a session in YouTube next week. Let's just try it out. Let's see how it goes. So anybody that is going to be available on Sunday, maybe just for a test run, please just indicate in our what maybe I'm going to share it in our WhatsApp so that just indicate interest so that we can just do a test run on Sunday before the main event.
Wow, that is great.
So if thank you. All right, please turn on your cameras. Let's take our pictures. Turn on your camera. Where's Ambassador Yala? Where are you all? Please turn on your cameras. Okay, I think it's already late, so let's just take the pictures like this. All right, after the count of 5, let's go. We're going to use our favorite emoji. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, we still have another page. Okay, just 1 person. Okay, let me just quickly take. Okay, it's 25 now. All right, just 1 page. All right, thank you, everyone, and have a good night's rest. Bye, and see you next week. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, Subratri, Kachifo in my dialect. Subratri.